Steve Mullin, Delphi Police Department, Chief of Police.
Leazenby Carroll County Sheriff.
Basically, we're going to make this, it's going to be short and sweet. We don't have that much at this point in time. Basically, what we've got, we have found two bodies. Is that the Sugar Creek?
Deer Creek.
Deer Creek, sorry. In Deer Creek, about a mile east of town. We are investigating this as a crime scene. We suspect foul play. We have not made positive identification of the two bodies, so we're not going to be releasing any information on them at this point in time. We've got the Indiana State Police is assisting the Carroll County Sheriff's Department and the Delphi City Police Department in the investigation here. We also have the FBI Crime Scene Investigation Group here out of Indianapolis. And one thing the family asked us to do is to thank all the communities around Delphi and the people here in Delphi for assisting in attempting to locate these the two young children that were missing earlier. They just wanted to say thank you to those people, and thank you. They were just wanted to express their gratitude toward the hard work that was done in helping search for these children.
Has the search been called off for these two teenagers?
Not officially, because we have not positively identified the bodies at this point in time.
You have people still searching the woods and creeks and fields.
We still have, there's still people out looking, but it has been scaled back. Let me just put it that way.
Are the bodies of the two individuals recovered are those of young female children?
I'm not at liberty to get information out as of this time.
Who found them?
I'm not going to say at this point in time.
Why do you believe that there was foul play?
Just the way the bodies were found. That's about all I can say at this point in time.
Were they in the water?
They were on the edge of the water, from what I understand. That's about the best I can tell you.
Any outside injuries?
I'm not going to make a comment on that at this time.
What time they found?
That I'm not sure. 12:15, about 12:15 this afternoon.
Are there any either suspects or persons of interest being questioned at this time?
We have not gotten that far into the investigation, so I cannot comment one way or the other.
Sheriff, you are from this community. Talk about the toll this search and this apparent recovery has taken on your county.
It's been a long several hours. It's played tremendously on the emotions of the community, but the plus is, the positive is the outreach of love and support for the families involved. I think that's been fantastic. It speaks highly of our community.
You've talked to the families. There's been no identification, but we could hear that this was a sad meeting you had.
There is some sadness, yes.
How long do you think it's going to take, of what you know so far, how long do you think it's going to take to positively identify these two?
I can't speak for the coroner. He's the one that will take care of that part. That's not something I can give you that information at this point in time.
How far did it from the bridge? Downstream.
Probably more than a mile, or less than a mile, rather.
I'm going to say somewhere between half and 3/4 of a mile. I'm guessing. The curve's back in there, so it's really hard to tell as the crow flies how far it is, but I'm going to guess about a half to 3/4 of a mile back there.
It wasn't that far from where the search started. You mentioned hours of searching, hundreds of people. So were they not in plain sight in that area, that it would have taken a long time for you guys to find them?
We really don't want to comment on that at this point in time.
Are there any?
We don't really want to put out too much information at this point in time. Something I will do, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm going to probably put tweets out approximately every hour on updates. It may be as much as that I'm just going to say we have nothing new at this time, but I will try to do that for at least the next 4 to 6 hours.
How do you suspect, do you presume that these are the two people you were looking for?
I really can't comment on that at this point in time.
Were there any visible injuries or other signs of trauma to the bodies that were discovered?
We're not gonna make any comment on that either. I know we're not giving you much, I understand that, but I mean, we're at the baby stages of this case. At this point in time, I cannot release really much more information. As soon as I can, I will be more than happy to put stuff out.
Who's the lead investigator?
Carroll County is actually the
Sheriff's
lead.
Office.
Is it fair to say the search has been drastically scaled back?
Correct, I'll say that, yes.
Sheriff, are you classifying this as a homicide investigation at this stage?
It's a death investigation of unknown sources.
Chief, you have not said anything that this is your town. Talk about the impact this has had on your town.
It's had a terrible impact on our community. The people who participated in the search, the people who have participated in all the efforts to try to find the victims in this case are very much appreciated. But I know it's had a terrible effect on our people, and we are grieved this sort of thing would happen here in our community. I am pleased to see the community come out and help us the way that they have. I'm very pleased to be part of a community that has done everything they have done to help us out in this case.
Going forward, you're going to do everything. Obviously, you can find out who was involved in this. And then earlier when we talked, pretty much all the law enforcement's been holding back tears because these young girls and families and the whole search has really taken a toll on you. So are you going to do everything, exhaust every option, just like you did in the search, to find out who was involved in this?
Yes.
Anything to say to the community?
Thank you.
Thank you for all the help.
Should people in the community be afraid right now based upon what you've seen and you know?
I think people are smart enough in our community to draw their own conclusions about what they should feel and shouldn't feel. Our people are very smart. We have a very good community, and they are very strong. And they are able to draw their own conclusions about this whole situation, I think, quite successfully. Thank you for the question.
Because, and the reason I ask is I hear the words foul play suspected. And people might be wondering if there's somebody running around this community preying on people that they need to be afraid of.
I understand what you're saying.
Should they be?
I do. I think people are able to draw their own conclusions about this situation, and they are smart enough to figure out that what the situation warrants them to think. So that's all we have to say about that.
And you said you scaled back the search completely. So the hundreds of people, even they were coming up a little bit ago, can I offer my help? Can I get back out there? At this point, do you guys not want more people heading out in that area? What's the advice for people who do want to be involved in the search?
They can continue to help in the way we need the assistance at. I am not at the scene and I'm not aware of what's going on out there at this point in time, so I can't really say what we're going to use them for. We may be just telling them we thank you for your help, and we may just be sending them back. So, you know, again, we believe what, you know, you believe what you can, and then we got to go with the truth that we have. So that's what we're working at.
One final thing. You started off with a statement about finding the bodies. You said Shrewsbury. Can you say that over again with the right creek?
Oh,
Deer Creek.
the bodies were found in the Deer Creek area, just east of town, about a mile from the 3/4 to a mile east of the, what is that? The
Freedom Bridge.
Freedom Bridge. I know I didn't help you much there, but
So from Freedom Bridge or the Monon
High Bridge.
High Bridge?
I'm not sure which bridges.
They're two separate bridges.
I know. So
Yeah.
which-
Freedom Bridge is on the state road, on the Heartland, and
Okay.
High Bridge is
It's-
the bridge
it's
that's right
back-
up that used to be the
yeah.
railroad
So how
bridge.
far from High Bridge? I think that was the last known location.
Within probably 3/4 of a mile or so.
Okay, and how close were they to the area where they were supposed to be picked up by the relatives?
within that 3/4 of a mile. So
Okay. Is that with the flow of the creek or against the flow?
it would be upstream.
Upstream against the flow of the creek.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
That's really all we got right now.
Very interesting. So I guess you guys see me, but where's CD at? Where you at, CD? So it looks like this is the sleuth takeover. We have CD.
Here I am. Come, hold on. Let me shut
Whoa.
this. I'm shutting this down. Hold on. So sorry. Oh, so sorry. All right. We're here.
There you are.
You got me now? Can you hear me?
I got you. Yeah, you're live.
I don't
and I can hear you.
understand what the hell just happened. Audio was working fine. Was all set up pre.
It's all about the
Total disaster,
headphones.
but we're good now. The echo's gone, right? Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, it's gone.
And I spent 20 minutes setting it up to have it ready. So what's going on there, Sleuthy?
Not much, man.
No.
I was working on a little project.
Oh, nice. With
It's all
Delphi?
animation. Yeah. Call it the well, I don't know what I'm gonna title it yet. I think While I Was Sleeping is what it's a little theory animation about possibly maybe Keegan falling asleep, his father taking the phone, father showing that phone to the bridge guy uploading the information and logging into the profile and then committing the crime.
Very interesting. I like it.
What do you have to?
Like it. Listen, we have to think outside the box, you know? Have to be thinking outside the box. And now it's been, what, 5 months almost, right? Almost, well, it's 5 months since the last search warrant we know of at Keegan's house, you know, while he's locked up. And nothing seems to be fully progressing. I mean, yes, we got the transcript leaked and that stuff, but where are we? Where do we stand? That's the biggest question. That's why I wanted to play the original press conference and just show Tobe's response to how shot. He's totally shot. What he just came from and what he witnessed. He couldn't even speak. That's how bad of what we're dealing with, and they want to get it right. They have to get it right.
I like what you said about Tobe. Everybody giving him a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a human. He's human. He tried to be optimistic. Oh, maybe they're going to come out of the movie, the last movie of the night before. They were hopeful. Nobody thought that this was going to be the outcome that came.
Right.
Very sad. And that I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat know and have seen that wacky Roblox video, which is beyond alarming.
Yeah, that video is it's upsetting, I guess.
It is because that takes a lot of time to create that world that they use to even play that out with, to have 3 players, actually 4, somebody to play Kelsey dropping them off. To even play that out is just bizarre,
Yeah,
and how
they could have easily just stopped right out at the point where they go down the bridge, and it would have been totally acceptable.
Yeah, you didn't need to go as crazy as they went, But what else is going on? What's going on in the sleuth world? I'm sorry about your cat. That is horrible. I've been there, and I know how tough it is, especially with the kids losing that animal. It's brutal.
Yeah, what's funny is we typically don't let the animals go upstairs,
Yeah.
but she was feeling real sick the night before she passed, and she was able to kind of sneak her way up. And
Did she try? Because my cat wanted to get under the covers when she was getting really sick. They want to like get very close to you.
No, she wanted to sleep with my youngest.
Oh,
She
wow.
did. Yeah, she snuck in her room, and then in the morning is when she came back down to get some water, and she was just kind of laid kind of flat, and I was like, oh no, something's wrong. And from the time that I noticed she was flat to going up and giving her a little pet, and she like kind of smiled up at me,
Yeah.
and it was like right then I gave her a little bit of comfort, like, how you doing? I even like gave her a couple drops of water, and it was instant. She just seized right up. She's like, okay, I can go now. And that was it.
That's horrible. It's tough. It's tough, man. And I went through it. I had a husky. He was just a great dog, great with the kids. And the vet misdiagnosed him. They said it was prostatitis, dude. That'll take 12 weeks. So that was pouring medication down this poor dog 3 times a day, 4 or 5 pills, and then ended up being cancer. They missed it on the X-ray. We had to get a scan done. Brutal. It's just brutal. It is. It's brutal, and you want to do everything possible for your animal. He was part of the family, and it just it really hurt. That's why we got our other dog.
Yeah, we have 4 canines
Oh,
now,
wow.
and
You're
we
busy.
still have we have another cat.
It's a busy
So when we-
household there.
Yeah. I found her outside. And it's getting hot out here where I
Yeah.
live, and I brought her inside, and we called the vet because my wife used to work for a veterinarian
Okay.
clinic. So she called her old vet there and was like, yeah, we don't know what's going on, maybe a spider bite. She wasn't acting too like
Yeah.
she wasn't
You
completely
just
out
knew
of
she was
it.
a little bit off.
Yeah, I
Right?
was
You
like,
knew
what's
she was a
going
little
on? Yeah.
That's
So
bad.
then we called in, and they said most likely dehydration.
Yeah. I also think that they want to give you a good outcome. They want to keep your hopes up that it's something a little less. And when it ends up being a tragedy, it's tough.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, me and that cat probably like the last, I think, like year and a half, really like kind of took us a while to get that connection.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because cats, they're not exactly like dogs. You could have a cat that doesn't like really associate with you, but it's your cat, and then
Well,
they
the
take
other
to
cat
somebody
follows me
else.
around. The other cat took, she
That's what
follows
it
me
is.
around like a
Yeah,
shadow.
once you finally break in and that cat knows that that's my buddy, then then you're inseparable.
Yeah.
And somebody,
But also I was looking at the Barbara McDonald transcript.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Pages 2 through 5, and that's kind of where I came up with this theory. It's where he kind of talks to her about how the only other person is his father who could have the phone. So that's when
totally different scenario, from August 19th, 2020.
So
what a year and a little more brings.
If Keegan is showing his father what's going on his phone, let's say while he's not paying attention, his father's showing his buddy what's going on these phones.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Who knows what that third party's going to do?
Absolutely. There was a lot going on. He tries to, he tried to really, play with the cops, and he would only give the thorough answers on what he wanted to, and he tried to play the trauma. He's traumatized game, and that doesn't work. But he's got to get close to chirping. Time's coming, man. His trial's coming. He wants some of those 30 charges to go away. He better work it out, because they are not going away unless something comes from it.
I hope he already has. I hope there's some kind of deal.
He possibly could have. That's possibly why that extra search warrant came. We just don't know.
Yeah, there's 2, right?
Transcripts.
2017 and 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2/25/17
That's
and
a
then
lot.
August 19th to 20.
It's a lot of search warrants.
Yeah. But then the third one, then the third one came in 2021, November 2021, when they took the dog out. It's a lot of search warrants at one residence.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just it's 3 too many if you think about it.
A lot going on
There. CCK wants to just a quick thing on the Roblox video. It's very disturbing. Somebody created a world on Roblox and they have Kelsey dropping the girls off at the private drive, and the entire story that we know of plays out, and it goes a little further than it should have. I mean, that's what I'll say on it. I don't want to really promote it. It's disgusting that somebody even did it, you know. But that's what people do, you know, attention getters or whatnot. What threw me off was the BBC News at the end. You saw that, right? It was BBC News that was the newscast.
No, I saw it. I saw it up until they portrayed Libby naked.
Yeah, it was disturbing.
Which is at the time she was a 14-year-old girl. So
Yeah.
right there, that could be
CP.
should be a strike,
Yeah.
a YouTube strike right there.
I can't believe YouTube hasn't taken it down, because I know a lot of people have flagged it and they're still letting it be.
That's why I watched it up until when she got up and started running around. I said, "What the hell am I looking at?"
Yeah.
I left him like a little comment, like, "Please take this shit down."
Yeah.
Like, please, like, what do you, or fix it? Just stop it from.
Yeah.
Take the end. Take the end out.
Take that 3-minute block out that is very disturbing out.
Yeah.
You know, show the meat, fine. You know, show the meat, it's fine.
Mhm.
You know, you don't have to go further. But at the end, it showed a newscaster, and it was BBC News. So it's kind of like throwing me off a little bit. Like, is this somebody in the UK doing this? Because to use BBC News is just kind of strange. But you know what? Let the task force figure out who the hell put that up. You know, I watched it at half speed because I wanted to see some of the conversation that was going on. There's some weird things being said also.
And there's part of me that doesn't want to promote it. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully it gets taken down.
Yeah, I really hope so.
So let's see I'm just trying to see what the chat is saying here. I can't believe I had audio issues. I tried everything out. It was fine. And I had to move to my iPad. So it's whatever works.
I don't know about everybody else, but my eardrums are already blown. So
I know. I thought I was going to try and close that first, but then I'm like, is it going to kill the feed? And then it didn't have any sound, and it blurred out like that. Yeah, it was a horrible screech.
Yeah, you're still fresh with these live streams, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm getting there.
Yeah, go back and look at my first couple streams.
Yeah, they were a little hairy too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was so accidental. It was terrible.
Well, I used to use OBS, and
how is that? Is it tricky?
Well, if you can get the settings right, it's more user friendly, and you can do a lot more than you can with StreamYard.
Okay.
So yeah, you can kind of
explore
even express your ideas a little bit better. You can throw things into the middle of the screen, even right where we're talking.
Yeah,
we could just throw some type of animation right through the middle of us. You know,
that's cool. Yeah. That's just a little bit too high tech for me.
Me too. It was way high tech. It's free software, but I couldn't get the audio right. So I was like, you know what, StreamYard just does it all for you.
Yes, it seems. Yeah. Listen, this is what I need. It seems like what you need. It works. You know, gets the job done.
Perfect. Yeah, it does everything for me.
Zooter, yes, my children play Roblox, and I monitor them like crazy, and we have to talk all the time that if because I don't know if your kids play it, so there's some weirdos that like your kids play in the game, and the person will just walk and follow your kid and start bumping into them, and then they start chatting. So my kids know there's no conversation of where they live, none of that. You have to keep instilling it because it could be that one mistake, you know. But there are weirdos that do try and make contact to just, make small talk. You know, could it be a kid? Yeah, it could be a kid, but it could be somebody else too. Let's see, reading the chat. So yeah, going back to the first presser, you see how vague they were. You know, 2 bodies were located. They didn't want to say much on it. I understand that. I think it could have had something to do with they wanted to make sure that all of the family members were told, before confirming. Yes, the parents were told, the grandparents, but maybe they wanted to give it a little time. But you see Tobe, he is crushed, and that shows you what kind of crime scene that we're dealing with, and just how horrific it was.
Well, I was watching I was going through Alexis McAdams. Do you know who that is?
Yep.
News reporter.
Yeah.
She has this huge portfolio of videos on YouTube. I suggest everybody go take a look at that shit.
Okay.
It's amazing.
But she was the one that was in the woods that night, right? When they were missing, she was broadcasting from the woods, from the trails.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is her. I think I've seen her many a times. I think it is her. And there was one where there were people out searching, and they're like, "Oh, there was somebody behind her in the woods. They have a flashlight. They were out searching." There were, from what people say, there were hundreds of people out there.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, think about any town. When kids are missing, people are going to come together and try and do whatever they can. Nobody was thinking that what was going to be found was going to be it. So yeah, getting to my son. Everybody, just so everybody knows, my little guy has a little broken foot. He's in a full
Sorry
cast.
to hear about that, man.
Yeah, it was terrible. But what are you gonna do? Accidents happen, man. We were at softball practice, 10 minutes early. My daughter took him on the playground. They were playing, and she slipped. She protected his head, but his foot was behind her. So she went. She feels horrible, but she didn't do it on purpose. It's an accident. So we had a little cast on for 3 weeks. But the doctor said Wednesday they did the full cast, and the doctor said give him 3 days, and he's going to be standing, walking on it. 3 days later, he's standing on it, and he's working on walking already. So he said it's locked in. He'll heal in 2-3 weeks. We'll get it off, and that's it.
Yeah, if it's just like a fracture or something like that, he should be
good.
good.
On top of the foot, he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Won't be the last time.
Listen, my 2 oldest never broke a finger, but the third one's bound to have something. What are you going to do? But he's all right. Yeah. Everything's good. That's just where I've been. It's just been a busy week and a half. Mandy, BG could be possibly one of the searchers. We just don't know that. Oh, I wanted to say to you, what was the guy's name that was working at the cemetery?
Brad Heath.
Brad Heath.
I don't know if it was the cemetery. He said he was working close by.
Yeah, he was working close by. Yeah, he was doing something close by. What I've been working through my head is, what did he see? And
I think he saw the car. This is why I think so, because they say a vehicle from 12 to 5, right?
Yeah.
That's most likely the amount of time it took him to complete his job in that area.
Yeah, it's work hours. Yeah, work hours.
12 to 5. So that's the only time he can confirm. So I'm wondering if the vehicle at the CPS building is connected. After the murders, they could have panicked. They could have gotten picked up by somebody else. Was it a stolen vehicle?
Yeah,
I don't know.
100%. Well, also I thought about, did he see the young bridge guy without the jacket on because he removed his stuff, and that's what threw Ellie off in the beginning. Because remember, in the beginning, they put up a picture of BG, but didn't call him a suspect. They called him a possible witness. Trying to locate this man. If any family member knows who this is, let us know. So maybe they were thrown off a little bit from what they had to what maybe Heath saw, being a younger gentleman without the dark jacket on or whatnot, walking out towards the car.
They were. You have the sketch artist, right? Who we know created the young bridge guy sketch. Now, the
days
quote,
after.
And he even quotes the witness. He says, this is a witness, eyewitness testimony or account, eyewitness account. And she or they saw something and felt they needed to say something.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the quote from Brad Heath is different. He said, there were some things I turned over that I hope were helpful.
Yeah. Well, he's also going to be vague, He's also going to be as vague as possible,
That's just my opinion about those 2 pieces of evidence. So.
Remember when he was blowing the horn when he was on Freedom Bridge blowing the horn? I think maybe
the shofar.
Maybe he had a little bit of guilt thinking that he didn't push hard enough at what he saw. You never know, You just don't know. But I mean, and people, I forget who it was. Maybe it was Greeno or somebody about the woman with the dog.
Yeah, the dog lady
from this dog walker.
Yeah, she's most likely the one that did provide the young bridge guy sketch.
Well, or is it the woman? Is it the woman that didn't walk the dogs, but her dog was out and saw the 2 men with the hoods?
Same
on?
thing. Same thing.
Is that one the same?
To me, that's all some kind of truth is in there. Somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like the telephone game where it gets passed along and it changes over time.
And also, I think a lot of the information was spilled out. At first, like she was willing to maybe like help because she thought the case was going to be solved. Like,
well, they did.
This is what I saw. Go bust those guys. But no, as time went on, she's like, well, shit, you need to start hiding my identity.
Yeah.
And even you started hearing law enforcement at the pressers, they keep slipping it out, accidentally saying she or
Yeah, yeah.
so they keep screwing up,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Well,
man.
it's a Freudian slip. It's just that's what's in their head.
Or
So
it could
just
be
comes out.
it could be a purposeful mislead because it's an actual
it could.
heat.
No, it could. It could. You never know where
Yeah,
they're
this
going.
is chess, man. This is chess. This ain't checkers.
The biggest problem is with what they had, and especially once they found the phone, they got the audio, they got the video. It's 2017. They're thinking, and I've said it, if this was 60s or 70s, even in 60s or 70s, you thought you'd solve this in days. And now look where we are, over 5 years later.
And the only thing that keeps me from really leaning that Tony and Keegan and that little bunch did this is because they didn't get rid of the phones.
Yeah.
Because all of the information that law enforcement got, they didn't get it from the pinging information. They didn't get
Well,
it
remember
from
something though, this geofencing, that really, people really didn't know that your phone was able to do that.
I mean, even with that information, the information that they got in that interview didn't come from that. It came from the forensics that pulled from the physical phones.
Yeah.
These guys, if they murdered somebody, those phones would have been gone.
On the mapping.
Think about it. You commit a crime, you have like 6 devices with evidence all over it. You're not going to reset them. You're going to completely obliterate them.
Oh, of course. Of course.
They didn't do that.
No, they didn't. They didn't. And why, I have no idea. I also feel that the Vegas trip had other intentions too. Maybe that's why BG's clothes has never been found. The murder weapon has never been found.
That's why I think if they're connected indirectly, I'm thinking there's a third party who did a bunch of bad things using the information that he acquired by spending time with them.
Yeah.
And then he's bouncing back and forth.
Absolutely.
He goes to the murder scene, comes back into their life as a friend, like, hey, I don't know what happened, type of deal.
No, that's the biggest issue, is that this could be a
third party.
People. It could be even more.
I'm thinking rogue third party and his little side crew or whatever.
But the only thing that makes me think that they had some kind of hand is Keegan really never left his house. And on the day of the murders, this guy is, in transition, moving around,
Nowhere near the crime scene, though.
No. Down. I understand that. No, I totally get that. Country Club Road is not near the crime scene.
It's been so hard to explain that. So it's got to be somebody was accessing the information from a separate phone, like a burner type phone.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's
the earliest video I met you on was your burner video.
Because I think, what if Keegan had no clue what was going on, right? And this is just a theory I'm working on, and that was the project I was telling you about earlier. Yeah. He has no clue. There's this third party that's, help from, I would most likely say Tony. Bounces from Keegan to Tony to the bridge guy. Bridge guy now is in pursuit, and that's how he targeted his victims.
Mm-hmm.
And he, knowing that if it traced back, it would go directly to this pedophile who was asleep at the time. So maybe Keegan really doesn't know that somebody was on his phone, just sending a few bits of information.
Or did his father give the sign in, and that's why there was that competition of who was signing in, signing out of the Snapchat that morning. That's also possible. There's so many. It's just so, and I also find so crazy in the interrogation how Keegan was found looking up cold cases. Why was he they grow them on that. What were you doing looking up cold cases? Why did you feel this case was going to be cold? Was there a third person there that did it? And that's why we're still here 5 years later, and why they're just, spinning in circles.
I just can't help but wonder if Keegan was over there on Country Club Road completely unaware that somebody had communicated with Liberty, somebody really bad. And he's using Keegan as a fall guy, and he's also using him to target these victims. And all he did was simply go to the bridge, just not too familiar with it, and kind of scouted it out early, maybe like around 11, went all the way down, turned around, even past
maybe even moved his car, maybe
even parked at the Mears lot early, like around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, walked up the bridge. So his first time he's walking, he's kind of like unsure. Walks across it, looks around. That's when the dog lady sees him, while he's kind of scouting, and maybe a hello, how you doing? And then he leaves, boom, gets back in his car and goes and parks at the CPS building because he saw it as he came in from the freeway.
Yeah.
And he also knows that if he parks there, nobody else will be parking there. He's going to back in.
And that the building's closed,
Yep.
It's
And he
daytime.
waits.
Daytime,
just-
a cop might just drive by, not even paying attention, like, oh, they shouldn't be there now. Nighttime, different story. But daytime, you're not going to really look into it.
And as he's backed in, here comes Brad Heath driving by.
Yeah.
Drives by. Brad Heath takes notice of the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he's responsible for the car and the guy.
Yeah.
And goes and does his job.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's either seeing the guy walking towards the car or after he saw the car, or seeing him get out of the car and just go wherever, not paying attention, but it all making sense later.
RJ has a question here.
Yep.
Where did Libby stay Friday? I think at her aunt's. I'm pretty sure at her aunt's.
Yeah, at Aunt Tara's, because that's where all the kids hung out, and she always wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably where she was maybe ignoring Anthony shots. That goes back to the Keegan theory. If he's the guy on the bridge and he just shows up and he's high and he just comes stomping out on the bridge, does the crime, leaves, gets away, and now we're here. Maybe they did ignore him. Maybe she met somebody new,
It's possible. There's so many possibilities.
A lot of work. It seems like they have so much work to do. But I think the weeks prior, a lot of information in between all that stuff that we don't know. I think they know a lot more than we even would expect. Like, I think they have
I agree.
a lot more going on.
I also think that Carter slipped when he brought up that they need all these different detectives to come back in after somebody's arrested to go through the calls. I think they're going through the calls already, but they're going to need more manpower. But I think they wanted to start from the beginning to see what those initial calls were on BG. Maybe they missed something. They had a huge call center. Somebody could have missed something. One little thing could have been missed in the early onset. Before the O'Brien system was hooked up.
I had a question that I wanted to run by you.
Yeah.
And this is more speculation. I know nothing about what I talk about.
Speculation's all good though.
Yes. So, from your professional opinion, do you think it's possible that the whole ski mask incident that happened just a week after, do you think that's possible that they felt law enforcement wasn't on the whole Anthony Shots thing, so they used that situation to bring more attention to the Anthony Shots profile to help frame this fucking pedophile?
It's funny that you say that, because I had to go back and look, because remember they do that whole spiel with him, right? And they say, this is how we found you.
Yes.
But then you go into his arrest affidavit and they say that's not how they found him, that he was found between ISP and the FBI doing a joint thing on CSAM. And that's how Anthony Shots popped up. So there's two different storylines there of how they circled, and found him. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's technically not lying about evidence, is it?
No, it's not. No.
So they both could be lies.
They could just. Well, the affidavit, you don't want to really lie in the affidavit, because that's corporate.
Because that's you convincing the judge.
Yes, yeah, you're going with court proceedings there. That that could get destroyed at court. But interrogation is a totally different ballgame.
Oh, well, actually, I take that back, because if you are trying to make yourself look good on an affidavit, you might put that.
Yeah. I find it weird, though, that I know that there's some kind of speculation that Libby didn't even sleep at that girl's house, the week before.
It may not have been at her house, but it was definitely her.
Yeah. No, it definitely was her. Yes. But it was said to be, Ellie might have been just putting it all together, so it just was easier for him to break down. If they're putting all these different houses in, it could have got confusing. He knew that family. He knows the stepfather or the father, whatever the guy is. I could call him right now.
Regardless of the house or the location, she was the window for him to peek through to wherever the girls were at that moment in time. She was the one that allowed him to pop in and take a look in that room.
Yeah. And then you have And then you have him lying about that he blocked Libby, and we know that's a lie. Like he
Maybe
lied.
he did at
lied
one
through his
point.
teeth.
Maybe that happened later. And maybe that's part of the reason why he was so pissed. And maybe that was part of his motivation to show up there and to maybe demand like a sexual relationship. And then, or maybe
Yeah.
not, maybe he just kept walking and didn't even stop, just grabbed her, ignored Abby, and just kept on walking,
Mhm.
harmed her, and then just harmed Abby just
Well,
for
I think
panic and to
I think
silence
that's
her.
hard. That's hard to do in the daytime because you don't want somebody screaming. And I mean, you grabbing one and leaving one behind, the screams that's going to go on.
That's where the
feel like-
second perp comes in, huh? So that's
Yeah.
when you got to start but I'm thinking maybe if he was to just grab Libby out of rage, and let's say Abby was just hitting him the whole time, like in the face and the back, and he's just walking with her, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Joanne says, I thought they found him after the search of the house on Bicycle Road. We don't know if the Logan search warrant led to him. It's a possibility, but we don't know that. That's not 100%. I know that is a rumor, but we don't know that for a fact. They did take a lot of took a lot of stuff out of that house, though. They were going in and out, taking stuff out of their home. Too many fingers in the pot. Yes, Purdue. That's the problem. That's the problem with this case. It's they peel back one onion and one layer of the onion, and there's another layer there. It's just nobody thought this was going to go 5 years plus. No, nobody. Not with not having the suspect, not having his voice. It's just I don't know. We're at 5+ years, and seeing the family, how they when they read the stuff, when they read over the transcripts, we knew that it was going to hurt. They were told 5 years social media had nothing to play into this, and it did, and it gave them, they're shook from that, and I could totally understand it.
Well, as parents, you would feel responsible.
Of course.
So it's all, it's kind of like
she was Becky Patty was taking it like
blinders.
You
put the blinders on.
She was really taking it like, she even said that they had this conversation with the girls. I mean, any parent wants to say, be careful of who you're talking to online. But this guy, he knew what he was doing. This is what he's done for years. He knows how to groom. He knows how to start off. He shows the cars. He shows the money. And, I'm really into you. And then they're feeling love. And that's where it goes.
Well, I mean, I haven't heard you speak upon this directly, but do you think it could be Keegan? Just lone wolf, high, going out there, committing the crime, and then all by himself?
I don't. And remember me and you, when the news first came out, I was on live with you, and that's when I said, I wouldn't discount Tony just because of his Facebook, his history, just the young girls he followed on Facebook and whatnot. I mean, is it a possibility? It is. It's 100%. It could be a one-man thing. But I think that this crime scene is so intricate that there's maybe too much, evidence. Because Robert Ives does describe that there's a lot of evidence at this crime scene. What is that lot of evidence? I'm not too sure. But he said there's a lot of evidence.
Oh, that brings up a good point. Sorry, I had cut my hand on my truck earlier, and
no problem.
Somehow I opened it back up. But that brings up a good point, because Ives says also, with all that evidence, he also agreed that he feels that the person could be local.
Yes.
So
yes.
What is it about all these signatures and all the strange evidence they have that says local?
Yeah.
What could that be? Just the area itself?
I mean, I don't think. I mean, listen. Yes, people. I mean, there's people in Delphi that didn't really know of this place. The newer people that moved there. Because yes, there's trails there, but people really didn't pay attention to it. I mean, I don't know. It's just that's why I never could buy into this random trucker that went to Packers and had a few hours. I'm just gonna go walk the trails and kill 2 girls. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. The percentage is so low that.
My trucker theory.
Was that?
My trucker theory always consisted of a liaison, like maybe meeting up with somebody. Let's say you make a drop, because I did furniture delivery, so I kind of was able to put myself in that kind of
No, I get
scenario
it.
where
Yeah, because the
where
time,
you're
there's
back.
a lot of time.
Well, yeah, so you're backing into this place. It's not your hometown. You're traveling, and then you start talking to some fellas,
Yeah,
and like, hey, what do you guys do for fun around here? Oh, well, my friend's having a party,
yeah.
and maybe it's near that bridge, and they get all fucked up. Next thing you know, the rest is history.
Yeah, and listen, we also know how there's some weird shit that goes on in the woods at night.
Oh yeah,
There's weird meetings. There's
Mhm.
political meetings that people don't know about that goes on in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
You know,
secret
that's been-
society meetings
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
been going on for 60, 70 years of our government. That
Yep.
there is secret stuff going on. Owls and a lot of weird things. It's out
Yep.
there. People dig a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. It is out there.
Reminds me of the Son of Sam. I know you know a lot
yeah.
about that case.
Oh, yeah.
How there was multiple killers, and they had this whole satanic thing where they were just kind of running in the back alleys
Yeah.
of these
Well,
like
they feel that there were people that
suburban
were also involved.
neighborhoods.
Yeah, they do. There's conspiracy theories that there were other people involved. That people really helped get into his head.
Well, I think they pretty much proved it, right? That there was multiple shooters. I think Berkowitz even came out and even mentions it, I think, at one point in an interview.
I think he does, but was he being factual? That's the problem with him. He's
It was before his change, I think, before he says he was reborn Christian.
I'm also going to be once I get some time, I'm going to head out to Long Island and get some video for go over the Long Island serial killer. A lot of people have emailed me on it. A lot of people are interested on it. That's another weird
Boots on the
case.
ground. Yeah, you're right there, man.
It's a weird. It's just crazy at how it started with limbs washing up to then bodies being found. He progressed. He progressed. Same stuff on with the crime scene and stuff that they were finding at the burial. So I'm going to look into that too. Purdue, I believe he did have to know the area. I believe that, especially where the creek being crossed, where the girls were murdered. He did it where it was. It just seems like it was planned very well.
Well, what about Bart? Who was that? Keegan's ex stepson, right?
Yeah, stepbrother.
Didn't he or Tony's ex stepson?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken?
No,
Didn't
you're
he
not.
say that Tony
fished
used to
there.
bring him? Yeah, they used to fish there.
They fished there.
Okay.
They fished all the creeks in the area.
Are we to an agreement that he's being honest, or is it possible
I
that he's
he's totally
misleading?
factual.
Okay.
There's nothing that listening to him, he seems totally factual. Yeah, listen, that was his dad. Not that he respected the guy changing his name and stuff, but he and you could tell he liked Tony's father. The old man that just passed, Jerry.
Mhm.
Jerry. He respected him as a person. He said he was enjoyable to be around. So that was like 3 generations in a sense that went fishing together, because he would go fishing also.
And what's strange is I know that Abby, she fishes down there too.
Yeah. I think doesn't Mike Patty hunt around there in a sense?
I don't know, but
And he also
I have
used
seen
to
multiple images
kayak.
of Abby fishing there.
Mike used to kayak in there, didn't he? Didn't he used to kayak the creek?
He might even have been the one that organized the kayak search later that night.
Yep.
Or early in the morning, where they had left from the bridge and headed
down
towards Delphi.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Red Zeppelin in the Delphi crime scene, like the Evansdale crime scene. The Evansdale crime scene and the whole Evansdale case, my opinion is it's not connected because of the second location. They were abducted where the bikes were left. They were taken 30 miles away, and that's where they were murdered and dumped in the woods there. So, I mean, we don't have a second location here.
Well, just keep this in mind, though. You can't, maybe Evansdale was the first time. They could the MO can change.
No, I totally agree. I mean, could this have turned into something like that? Possible. It's possible. We just don't know what happened at the 213
The way I look
encounter.
at it is it Evansdale and the Kleins could be involved in all of that. Somehow they could be connected together. It's possible. I'm not saying likely. I'm not even
Yeah,
on that.
listen, there's always
I'm just saying.
that percentage. There's always that percentage.
They're in their
I
late
just-
30s and late 40s. I think even a couple of these people involved are in their early 50s. I mean, that's a lot of time.
No, it is. There is a lot of time. There's a lot of years in between that they can grow. You know, it always progresses. It does. You know, and they always want more. It doesn't matter how long it takes them to get to that next murder, but they're waiting, and they're waiting for the right time to strike.
The dates, too, very strange.
Yeah, the dates are bizarre.
The bridge
together.
Seven bridges.
Yeah, 7 bridges.
Bridge. Very strange.
And TK, in everything I've seen, TK is the violence. That doesn't mean Keegan couldn't turn to violence. You know, Keegan's known violence since he's a toddler, so that doesn't mean that he couldn't turn to it.
Yeah,
But
grow into his own.
Yeah. Listen, it's learned behavior. You know, he was hit from a young child. You know, threatened with weapons, a firearm aimed at his head, whatnot. You know, that messes people up. You know, and I really feel like he wanted to do everything possible to stay on Daddy's good side, because he didn't want to get this shit kicked out of him. Cryptex, yeah, I know you're talking about KK with the girls, and we spoke about this last live, the live premiere I did, and I said to you that Keegan didn't say it directly to the girl; it was messaged to her, which it was messaged after the encounter about slicing her throat. So we don't know for a fact that was Keegan in the Anthony shots. That could have been his father. We don't know. You think about it. His father could have been present, and there could, like this, back off that there were 2 girls there.
Well, the thing about it is a lot of the reason that people think that Tony's involved is because all of this, hey, you want to talk to my father wants to do this, my father wants to do that. But you have to keep in mind, if Keegan is the one that's creating these profiles of these young girls, it's most likely him saying that he's the father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, let me give you this hypothetical. What if, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm just saying, what if there's some kind of something leads Ellie to believe the girls were hunted?
Man, it could be possible. Maybe it was a race or some kind of sick bet. You have the bridge incident, and then you have the other party brought in to try to kill the friend with the ski mask incident.
Let's say they, it's inaudible where it's not heard very well, but let's say they hear counting. And I'm just saying as speculation. But maybe there's something there that is making law enforcement focus on Tony. I don't know 100% if it's just the violence or if there's more. There has to be more to it, So was it a hunting, Yeah,
it could be, man.
It could be. That's how sick this could be, We just don't know what was at that crime scene that, first of all, brought them away from them initially, because they went away from them after the search warrant. And then they circled back around in 2019. What made them go away? Was that, a witness encounter that, was it a bad witness? Was it a witness that, did it on purpose? We just don't know, but there's got to be something there, got to be something there for sure.
What about the idea that you have 2 dimensions, okay? 2 timelines.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Okay. On the left side, you have this catfishing that's taking place. Keegan communicating with Liberty, and then something completely unconnected. Let's say somebody that lives near the bridge, anywhere within a couple mile radius, who wouldn't expect anybody to be out there on a Monday for whatever reason, maybe day drinking, drugs, and they just happen to step out near, I'm going to go to the bridge. Yeah. And while they're at the bridge, they stumble upon these girls. So we have Keegan Kline communicating with Liberty.
Yeah.
We have all of this going on with them.
The appearance that it's them.
And then totally unrelated and completely separate from that whole situation comes this person out of nowhere who has yet to be identified. Somebody who lives near there, visiting near there, somebody's protecting them. It's possible that that's something that has happened.
There's something that led them away from them. There's something there. There's something there we just don't have yet. You know, there is. There has.
And
there
why
has to
why
be.
is why didn't Keegan get arrested? Why didn't Tony get arrested? There's something that's missing.
Yeah.
And this whole ruse thing, it makes so much sense to me. Like, hey, you guys, you're trespassing. I need you to come down here. He attacks them real close to the water, pretty much as far as you could go, along that edge of that ridge.
Yep.
And then that's where he attacked them. They pretty much didn't run through the water. They may have swam.
Yeah.
He could have attacked one of them there, and then attacked the second girl shortly after. And then to hide them from being out exposed near the water, pulled them into the brush, maybe attempted to camouflage them a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
well, think about it, right? If you're gonna hurt one of them, and you want to go up that embankment, you're gonna go with the smaller one. You know.
Well, the embankment is non-existent. That's what I'm trying to explain. There's this video from Alexis McAdams where she's down with Ron Logan.
Mm-hmm.
She's at the crime. She's in the center of the crime scene. The tape is still up.
Yeah,
and they walk from the crime scene and they walk over to the shore. It is completely flat right there. The water's very deep. It's much further east up Deer Creek than where you see Anthony Greeno and most people crossing, where once they cross, they got to go up that embankment.
Up the embankment.
There was zero embankment.
Well, I also think that, if that's where they went up, did BG go down the embankment? Because remember the detective, remember the photographer that's there? I forget it. I have his pictures, but the detective's looking straight down at the embankment like he's.
But you got to remember, there's deer there. There's deer that go up through there.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's an obvious path there as well.
Oh yeah.
So just because he's looking doesn't mean that that's what he's looking at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's possible. It is. Listen, it is. I eventually want to go there and see it for myself. I do. I want to walk it because you know what? You're able to really, break it down more, just reading chat. Offender. No, they were Tamara. They were 100% tried. They had nowhere to go. There was nowhere to go. Once he came up on them, there was nowhere to go. You got Sergeant Riley talking about the audio, how it haunted him 6 to 8 months, thinking about how fearful one of the girls was. Why was it only one?
He grabbed one and he told the other one, like, hey, if you don't do what I tell you, like, I'm gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
Or Abby was just like, I'm not leaving. You have my friend, and she's telling her, run. She's like, or maybe it just happened so quick. He rused them all the way down to the edge of that water. And the second they knew that, they were in a trap, they tried to run, and he quickly attacked them both.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it goes back to them saying, how both of the girls are heroes and they stayed together till the end.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you that one of them was able to break.
Yeah. Hence no screaming because she had that fight instinct, not the flight,
Yeah.
She didn't scream and she didn't freeze. She just instantly, I think it was very quick. They were under some kind of manipulation.
Yeah.
They saw the water and he was like, okay, this is it. Pulls out the gun and he's like, look, this is really what's going on. You're going to do what I say. And they're like, no, we ain't. And then they just start fighting instantly. There's no screaming. There's no panic. Let's bail, and that might be why nobody was able to hear them. They didn't panic. They didn't scream. They were just trying to get away, maybe.
Yeah. I think one at least a break, but remember it, right? Your best friend's being held and you're getting away and, a weapon's out at them. Come back or, she's dead. 9 out of 10 are going to come back, especially kids, And you
could freeze.
When you think about it, it's the worst thing anybody could do, but even adults would go back. It's you got the chance to get help, but then your friend has whatever, whatever kind of weapons against them.
Well,
you're
it
going to go back.
reminds me of the whole Thomas Bruce thing. He was one male and he controlled 3 grown women alone.
Yeah.
Just with a pistol.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he had to get their attention. He did something very bad. So I'm wondering what he did to get their attention.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what that could have been.
A slash, some kind of injury to make them know, this is real. This
a real injury.
Yeah, this is not a game. I'm not going to not use my weapons. You see robberies happen in like bodegas where, guns brandished and, they fight the guy. He never shoots it because he doesn't want to murder somebody. I think this was totally different. You had a totally different scenario here.
That was the goal, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, Cryptex, absolutely. We all, it's just our natural response. Your friend is you feel that your action is going to cause a reaction that, could be her end. You're gonna do what you feel is right, and
we can all say what we would do.
Oh yeah,
what we could do, but until you're in that situation,
I'm not second guessing them at all because they did what 99.9% of people would do. Yeah, Vanessa, I think even if he had a gun, I think the weapon that was used was could be a lot scarier than a gun.
Yeah, he seems to be clasping a large weapon, maybe even with a holstered. I think he has a pistol holstered, and he seans to be clutching a large weapon of some sorts.
Yeah,
a strange item.
I lean to a hatchet or machete. Something
seems to be a hatchet, or maybe even a large hammer, perhaps.
I also think that's why Daniel Nations was such an interest to them in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He possibly had the weapon that was used, and he threatened people on a trail, and I think that fit the puzzle to them. Yeah,
it's very revealing to us. Hindsight. Yeah, in hindsight, it's very revealing. They're looking for a sharp-edged weapon.
Yeah,
coincides with the Erskine leaked text messages about the horrible wounds. So that could be what we're looking at.
I disagree with the arguing couple that's under the bridge being BG and the girls, because they had to go a distance to go where the crime scene ended, and I don't think the bridge guy would make contact and then bring them directly under where that initial contact was. He wants to go where he has chosen his kill zone. And it's horrible to think of that way, but that's how you got to think of this. To be hanging around where you make your initial contact just doesn't really fit. It just doesn't. We got any other questions? You see any questions there, Sleuth?
No, just a lot of statements.
Yeah, Cryptex, I know believe me, I get it. You're heavy on Keegan. Totally get it. And I feel he plays a big role in this. I do. But there's no reason just to keep him on ice with 30 charges over his head if he doesn't hold the key to this case, But no plea deal in sight is what his attorney said. There's no plea deal in sight. That tells a lot, and that tells that he's not doing what they want from him. What else you got? You got anything else?
I can show you a preview of that video, maybe.
Yeah, how do you do it?
I was gonna save it for my members, but let me pull it up and see if it doesn't freeze my whole system. It's not much done. It's just like the very first little part.
That's awesome. My dog's talking. You hear her?
And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, you hear her?
Mm-hmm.
She's telling a story right now. She's saying, "What are you doing, Daddy?
You gonna feed me?"
No, she don't want to get fed. She wants to bust my chops a little bit. It's her playtime. She was taking her nap, and now she wants to bust chops.
Yeah, dogs have great internal clocks.
Oh, 100%. That's my girl, man. She's hysterical. Elaine, I don't. My opinion is they weren't handcuffed. That they could. I mean, it's possible, but I believe they were possibly maybe duct taped or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just much more readily available. Not a lot of criminals would want to be carrying handcuffs. It's just, I just think it's too iffy. Quiet.
I might need to share my screen. Hold on. This is what I've been working on all morning, so I don't know even if it's going to work properly, but let me try to.
Purdue duct tape that's possible. Duct tape could leave DNA, but if they're using, thick gloves, then no.
Just add that CD.
Where do I add it?
Should be at the bottom of
here, yes,
just below. Yep.
Okay. And add to stream. Gotcha. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, that was easy.
It's titled "While I Was Sleeping."
Damn, that's a good narration of our guy. Dual phones.
Mm-hmm.
White Reeboks. That's awesome.
Who's that look like?
Oh, it's Poppy.
There's third party.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Hey, listen, I like it though. Listen, I do. I like it. I like it. Not bad at all.
Thanks.
Not bad at all. Tell you though, the head on the father is damn, it's almost perfect.
Yeah.
RJ, throw your conspiracy theory out there. I'm willing to hear it.
That's my third party theory.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something else that we are missing that we just don't have, that maybe they have, they just don't know who the person is. There's a piece that's out there that's not closing in, Bogey, could be zip tie handcuffs, could be, tape. There's many things that could be used to take control.
So I'm saying, that's why I brought up Thomas Bruce, because what he did was he gave a command, and the second that one of the ladies refused, he shot her dead.
Yeah.
So if Bridge Guy did something like that, to where you said maybe attacked or maybe gashed or did something to where he had their complete and utter attention, he would say, "You make one sound and it's over."
Yeah.
So what did he do? He did something.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. When the day comes and everything gets put out there, it's gonna be a very tragic day for everybody, because the knowing everything and knowing the true steps that were taken, to commit this crime and whatnot, it's gonna be an eye opener. People. That's why you see all this this bickering going on. There's all crazy stuff going on. It's like, let's reel back in and let's focus on the girls and their families. That's why we're all here. We're here for them.
Sometimes you got to realize, it's kind of like you're looking for a house party, right? It's not a group of really wild people. There's not going to be, maybe some pot in the back room, a lot of parents. And you think you have the address, and you walk in, you knock on the door, they let you in. It's a party. But you walk in, there's a bunch of backstabbers, and there's all these snakes, and there's all these people trying to get your sympathy and all this. And then what you need to do is realize, hey, this is the wrong address. I'm in the wrong party.
Yeah.
You leave, look around. Oh, there's my party. And up the street is, you walk in and everybody's polite. Everybody's showing respect. They're able to disagree. Now you're at the right party.
It's true. It's true. I think everybody puts their energy on where it needs to be. We'll get there.
Yep.
Just the side stuff is too much, you know. It's like spitting vipers, you know, the spitting cobras, the spitting snakes.
Yeah, step
You know,
out of the
venom's
pit.
flying all over the place, man.
Step out of the pit and go
Yeah.
back, you know, into where the grass is low and
Yeah,
you can see everything going on around you, you know.
yeah, I agree. Could be a cassette tape from Keegan's Greatest Sins.
That snoring. I think he was talking about the snoring.
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
that is funny.
Yeah. It should
It's
be
good
pretty
job,
good.
though.
Should be pretty good when it's all said and done. I'm also going to do a little mock-up of the McDonald interview, pages 2 through 5. That's going to be part of the animation too, where
Cool.
there'll be a little back and forth between them and tie in with that part.
Yep. I also find it weird. Remember how his name's wrong when she mentions that, but then his answer and then her response is inaudible. I think that was done for a reason. What the hell was that all about? That his name was wrong. You know, it's very
know.
strange. Did you see what I'm talking about? It's because his
The
name
whole-
was wrong.
The whole
It
Kagan
wasn't Klein.
Keegan
I
thing.
forget what it says on it, but it wasn't Klein, and it's just very weird. You know, I don't know if they had his alias up or whatnot in one of his aliases, but she did mention it to him. Aspen says, sadly, the arrest will just be step one. The hard work could begin trying to prosecute the case, get a conviction. Yep. Also think that's why they're transcribing stuff already. They're getting ready for that. Yeah.
Oh, and also in the probable cause affidavit, they also talk about a meeting that took place with the prosecutor. So a lot of this has to do with what's going on with the prosecutor. You know, nothing's going forward unless that office says, okay, we're going to proceed.
Well, listen, it's a double murder. You get one shot. It's got, you know, they want. That's why you saw Barry Morphew's charges getting dismissed right now.
That's what I was
You know?
thinking of right when
It's
you
a
said that. It's
single
Morphew.
shot. You know, you can't say, you know, you gotta remember something, right? They could even do what are those things called where they you know, where they play it out, you know.
Yeah,
Play it
live
out
to
for
fight
the
another day.
people, and they're seeing that they're not, you know, the evidence isn't enough. That extra DNA with the Morphew, where it's an unknown male. I think he might be a sexual offender that's come up inside the car and somewhere else. So that's,
heard that.
you know, that's given that little bit extra is enough. You know, it's enough. Whereas hatchets aren't that big. What are they? 14 to 16 inches, right? There's a couple different sizes.
I don't know. I have a
14
couple
inch.
hatches and they're both
Yeah.
different sizes.
Yeah,
You can make your own hatchet.
yeah, you could. You absolutely could. They're not like an axe. You don't think of like a large axe you'd see a fireman with. There's those little tomahawk hatchets aren't large, and they can do some serious damage. Purdue, I do not know what new information was sent to Fig. I don't know. I do not know. I guess it was Lakeside. What's your question? I'm sorry if I missed it. Throw it out there again. I'm sorry.
And also to respond to Purdue, I did see your question earlier. I have no clue about that either. Purdue asked me earlier.
Lakeside Justice said, did you figure out what was taken from the crime scene? One piece, I will say, I think that a piece of clothing was taken from the crime scene. And that being one of the sweatshirts. And I'll just give you that for now. And there's many reasons I feel that way. I don't know that for a fact, but I do feel that is one of the pieces that is missing from the crime scene. RJ says, I think the Erskine texts are faked and backed by law enforcement. They needed a way to screen a 20th and a growing tip, so they leaked something not real as a net to catch all the crackpot tips. I mean, could that be possible? It could be. I also think that he slipped up a little bit, and Anna confirmed that, you know, some of the texts were him. You know, we just don't know.
Lisa here, she says an alibi may be hindering charges. The whole country club phone logged into the Wi-Fi. That could be it. His alibi.
Of course. Yeah. An alibi can totally ruin a murder arrest. Absolutely.
And I've been looking for cases where criminals were using their phones as alibis. There's a couple cases out there where people actually did that.
It could be 100% positive. You know, leave it. You have multiple people involved. They're leaving it there. You're getting activity on it. You know, listen, Keegan didn't hang out with churchgoers. You know, So yeah, if somebody's bored and they got his phone, they could be looking at porn too. Doesn't have to be just him. That's a possibility. Vanessa says, would they seal old cases, say 10 years old, if said person was connected to the new ongoing case? What do you mean by that? This case is sealed as of now. I mean, there's no leaks. Even the witnesses, I believe, had a gag order in place.
Mhm.
That's why. I mean, so think about it. 5 years plus, nobody's talking. There
They're
were
ready
little
to.
breadcrumbs along the way, but nobody's talking.
We'll see him in a courtroom one day.
Oh, 100%.
They'll be
100%.
there. They'll all
I wonder
be
if
in
their
there.
clothes were damp when found. Are we sure they crossed the creek? Mojo, I believe they did. Yeah, I believe they crossed the creek.
Hmm. I think they tried to run even, maybe.
Yeah, the time that, from what Ellie's saying, we know 2:13, and there's rumor that by 3:30 it was all over. I don't think that they went all the way around to land on that property.
Erskine said he knew what he was doing with one of the girls,
Yeah.
and that it was personal with the other.
Yeah.
So when you say he knew what he was doing, to me that says quick and effective.
Yeah.
Over quickly, and then
Yeah.
quickly on to the second victim,
Yeah.
where he was able to take his time, and that's most likely where the crime scene ended up. But
let's remember something, right?
I think he pulled the other victim out of wherever it originally happened and closer to where it finished, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. And let's remember, like, when people hear that it was over quick for that person, a heavy weapon like that hitting on the inside of the leg, that's going to cause a bleed out very quick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it doesn't have
Major
to be,
arteries.
doesn't have to be the neck, doesn't have to be the heart. That is a direct line of the body that, you could have a serious, problem.
That's why some gunshot wounds can be so deadly.
Yeah.
Even in the leg, if you get hit in one of those arteries, it could be over in seconds for you.
Cryptic says, do you think one of the possibilities Ellie solved the case? No need to rush if you have the guy in jail. I don't. I don't. This is a case that, they're taking a beating every day that this case goes on by different people. I don't think that if they have it solved, they'd just wait. The CSAM is a totally separate thing. They're locking people up every week. You're seeing 1-2 people getting locked up, and it says, other investigation. So I mean, it's leading there. Corgi, he could have been selling sign-ins to the Dropbox. We have no idea where he's getting money from.
Yeah, and all this recent
shoes or not.
All these recent arrests that we've been seeing in Indiana. I looked through 2015 and 2016. There was a lot of arrests, but nothing on that magnitude. So this case could actually be helping with what we're seing transpire now with those arrests.
Absolutely. That we just don't know, what they're really able to see through the Dropbox, how much sharing went on, and how many sign-ins how many people signed in from all over the place. We just don't know,
and it's going to lead to murder. It's going to come from CSAM. It's going to lead to murder. It's going to lead to drugs. And then
it's sad, but it always does,
Mm-hmm.
It's a ladder, man. It is when you think about it. It's just, small crime, bigger crime, not good enough, need more. Then they're on to homicides, Ryan, I don't think they would just charge them. Even if they feel it's both of them, they're not. They need to know that they're going to win a trial. You can't say, oh, we feel. It's not about, you hear Carter say all the time, it's not about what we think, it's about what we know. They need to know they have him 100%. Is Fig in here? Somebody said thanks, CD and Fig. I don't see Fig.
I think I was mistaken identity.
Didn't see the Fig, man. He's probably busy. Saturday's a tough. You going on later tonight? I'll be available if you're going to go on later.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. I'll try to.
Yeah,
I'm doing. My wife got a huge promotion at her job.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna take her out for a little celebratory dinner and
nice. Congratulations.
Empty house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's right. You get an empty house, it's a grand slam. I got an empty house right now. I'm on with you. You know, I went to a little fair for a little bit. My wife's brother came over and stuff, so gave me.
Oh,
some time.
when I mean empty house, I don't mean I mean kid free, I guess.
That's what I'm talking about. No, I totally get what you're saying. No, I
Yeah.
totally understand. Kid, that's a beautiful night. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So if I can get back and you're still up later,
Yeah, let me know, dude. Even if it's late, later's always better for me because everybody's sleeping. You know.
I'll try not to get too tipsy.
All right, we're gonna close it down in a couple. You got any final things to go on? Any other questions in here? No problem, Lakeside. Right to a speedy trial. Yeah, they do have the right to a speedy trial, of course. But it's not just about the speedy trial. It's that prosecution doesn't want to go and even if they feel it's them, they want to know they got them. You want to know it's lock, stock, and barrel that they're gonna win the case, because you're not getting a second chance for this one, and you want to lock it down.
Yeah, you don't want to morph you this one.
No, I mean, you want to know that you got everybody involved. You know the roles.
I just coined
involved.
that, by the way. I
Who?
just coined it. I just coined it.
And morph you?
Yeah. Don't morph you this one.
You know what? He could be rejoicing all he wants. Prosecution even consulted Suzanne Morphew's sister and went over it, and they were okay with them pulling the charges back because they want the body is important. Cause of death is important. Right now it's all hypotheticals going on what they think happened.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know and are they going to get something off her body when they find it? That's a tragic case, And I don't know what's going on in the home there with him and the two daughters, but being a daughter, if you think your dad might have killed your mom, that's a tough one, man. Oof, that is a tough one.
It's horrible.
Horrible.
But it seems like they don't think that.
They don't. It doesn't seem that way either. They're bound. Every court appearance, they're bouncing. Daddy. I don't know. Was there? There must be a lot there. There must be a lot there to unpack. Because Suzanne, the woman seems like a phenomenal mother. Battled cancer once or twice. And just goes missing on Mother's Day.
I don't know much about the case. The last thing I remember is something involving a bicycle and possibly an animal attack.
What he did was he supposedly left 5 a.m. or whatnot, went a few hours away to start a job on Mother's Day without his workers. They were coming in Monday. And then he called a neighbor and said, "Hey, could you go check my house? My wife's not answering, and check if her bike is there."
That's strange.
The neighbor went, the bike's missing. So then they find the bike like that night. Before it gets dark, the police find the bike. Didn't seem like it was ridden down the hill because it didn't have enough damage to it. Like the hill is pretty nasty. There's some gnarly rocks or whatnot. And it looks like, to them, it looked like it was just pushed or thrown down there, And that's, I heard you mention about the animals. He brought up, could a mountain lion have grabbed her,
I was watching. I haven't seen a lot of coverage, but it was some live. I think it was some cam from law enforcement, one of their body cams.
Yeah,
and
he mentions it. He does.
Yeah, he says it.
Yeah,
it's like could this be a wild animal or something, or a bobcat or something?
Maybe a bobcat took her up the mountain, and I guess they consulted like a guy who's all into bobcat. Their behaviors.
An expert.
One thing they wouldn't do is take they don't really take their kill up the mountain, so it doesn't fit. There's a lot there. There's a lot there, Welcome in, everybody. But we're going to be closing her down because my crew's coming home soon. It's going to be wild here in a few minutes, They're going to come in like gangbusters. But, dude, it's always good to talk.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
perfect timing, man. I was right in my office. I was sitting right here.
Home run.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
We will let me know about later. Whatever.
Yeah,
if
sure.
you're good to go, we'll go. If not, we'll do it another night. No problem.
All right, I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Everybody, good night. Good talk, and maybe we'll see you on Salutes later.
Take care, everybody.
Take it easy, dude.